Hey, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Dr. Kyle Dean Freeman, sex and empowerment coach, and today I have an amazing training for you on why boundaries are the greatest form of love. If you are a people pleaser who struggles to make boundaries, has no boundaries at all, or feels gross at the thought of making boundaries and saying no, this is the video for you, because I'm going to share how boundaries make you a good loving person and what the consequences of not having healthy boundaries looks like, not only in your personal life, but as we are seeing it on the big stage in the real world right now. So let's get right into it. Make sure you like and subscribe if you want to see more of this content to learn how to stop people pleasing and take power over your life. So why boundaries are the greatest form of love? Well, you're a good loving person, right? At least most of us think we are. That you care for people, you don't want to see people suffer, and you want people to be happy, right? That's what a healthy person should want of other people. If you want other people to suffer, then you might need to see a therapist, right? Well, I've been living in Mexico, and living in Mexico teaches you a lot of things about boundaries. Now, on the streets, there are many poor people who are asking for food, asking for money, and they ask politely, of course. And I try to help where I can, giving some pesos here and there, buying something for someone here and there. But I don't give to every single person that asks, because the truth is there's so many people who ask every day, and I'm not rich. If I gave to every single person, I'd have nothing left. And so what people pleasers tend to do is they give them food. They give them money. They give them even shelter. Maybe, hey, you got your friend or a person in your life who's struggling. You take them in your home to help them start over, right? You give them everything and you say, take whatever you need, take the time you need, stay as long as you need, and you help everyone at every corner whenever they ask. And you don't say no because you're a nice person, and saying no is mean, and they may not like you if you say no, and it might cause conflict. But the problem is, when you start doing this, you end up running low on everything. Just as if I started to give to every single poor person on the street in Mexico my money, you would do the same. You run low on your money, your food, your energy, your peace, and your time, until you have nothing left, because you just keep giving and giving until there's nothing left in your tank emotionally, energetically, and financially. And this leads to you becoming bitter and resentful. I see this all the time. People get mad at everyone else for not caring about them. Why don't they care about me? I give them everything, and they don't ask how I'm doing, and I'm left tired and exhausted. When will they help me out? When will they leave my home? I didn't mean they could stay forever. And so by giving to all these people all the time, what we're doing is we're entitling those people. Out of our fear of conflict and saying no, we entitle them, because now they feel, oh, this person will give me whatever I want whenever I need it, and they never say no. And when you start to say no, then they get angry. Then they get upset. Are you kidding me? Why are you saying no now? You always give this to me. I deserve this. You've given your power away to people by never saying no, by always doing what they ask, to be a good person. Because now they have a power over you. They'll take advantage of you and your feelings, because they know how weak you are and how much you struggle to say no. And now you have nothing left. Now you feel powerless. And that's not where we want to be. And unfortunately, we're seeing this on the big screen, I should say, or in real life at the USA southern border, right? We see boundaries in our own personal lives, but there are boundaries geopolitically. That's what a border is. Every country has borders, right? And what do those borders mean? What do they show? Well, it means what is required of you to come into this country, what you are allowed to do when you're in this country, and what you can't do, what you can bring in and what you can't, as well as what documentation you need to show and prove so that we can let you in and know that you are a safe person to come in the country. Because why? It is a way of protecting its citizens, protecting the country, and following up with the agreements that they made with their citizens, that citizens voted on in their country, right? That's a way of loving their country, is by creating these strong, healthy borders so that we keep bad people out, and the people that come in, they know what rules they need to follow. And if they don't, then there's consequences. Maybe they get arrested. Maybe they go to jail. Maybe they get sent back to whatever country they came from because they didn't follow the rules. It doesn't mean that that country is a bad country. It's just that they have rules. That's what boundaries are. It's a loving thing. It's to make sure people do what is requested of them. Now, at the USA southern border at this time, right now, we are seeing millions of undocumented migrants come across the border, many of which are struggling and are just looking for a better life. But that's not every single one. Not every single person is simply looking for a better life. Some people do have bad intentions coming into this country. And so we are letting in anyone undocumented because we feel bad. And it's the loving thing to do, right? These people, they need a home. They're struggling. They're poor. Let's take them in. Let's be their shelter and take care of them and give them what they need, right? Because we're good, loving people. And this is the USA. And we're a good, loving country. But we don't ask why they are here, what they are running from, and anything about their background to know if they are safe. Right now, people are just coming across the border, and we're just letting them in. And you know what? It's a slap in the face to all the people who did go through the process legally to get here, who worked hard, and who are paying taxes. And we're not good people if we turn them away because that makes us mean. Well, no. These people need to show that they are going to follow the rules and follow the boundaries of being in this country, and that they know what the consequences are if they don't follow the boundaries. But right now, we're just entitling these people. We're giving them cell phone, food, money, and shelter, many of which for unlimited time, sending them wherever they want in the country, and pleasing them. And this is what they are thinking the USA is about. Oh, I'm here and they're giving me everything I could want. Amazing. Until they become entitled and angry and someone gets hurt and there is nothing left. And there are people getting hurt. There are undocumented migrants causing DUIs. People dying as a result. People getting harmed. There are school children getting taken out of school so that the school can be used to house migrants. There is the Chicago O'Hare Airport, which an entire terminal is full of migrants. And it's only the beginning. It doesn't mean that I'm a bad person. It means that I love the people here and that we need to hold to our boundaries and love the people here. And it's not that these people coming across are all bad, that we can care for them, but they need to follow the boundaries. And so when we don't follow these boundaries and we just let people in and let them do what they want, it shows complete disrespect and lack of love for the safety and well-being of the people already here, who are working hard, who are paying their taxes, who are following the rules. And then we wonder why the country, the USA, turns into these other countries that these people fled from, that these people ran from. We are at the beginning stages of what a lot of those other countries went through, of giving away everything and making people dependent upon the government. So we have to understand that it doesn't make us bad people to not want to let these people in. It just means we want to see them go through the process so we can love the people here and love our country and make sure that we are letting people in that deserve to be here. And so what we are seeing right now is Texas cannot stand it anymore. And the Texas government is putting their foot down. They are fighting to maintain their boundary by putting up barbed wire, getting the Texas National Guard to come guard the boundary in Texas, because the federal government is not doing its job. And even so, the U.S. government, the federal government, is fighting Texas to stop them from putting up barbed wire, to stop the National Guard from maintaining the boundary. Why would they do that? Texas is just trying to protect its citizens and love its state, because if they keep allowing the state to become overrun with illegal migrants who are not paying their taxes, who don't have a home, the streets will turn into San Francisco, where there's homeless people everywhere. It will be a burden on the economy, and people will get hurt. And so Texas is showing that it loves its citizens and it's protecting its people, not because it hates the people looking for a better life, but because it has to put the people it loves first. and that the government, the state, will fall apart if it doesn't. And they also understand that if you don't stand for anything, if you don't put your foot down, you will fall for anything. If you have no boundaries, well, people could do whatever they want because there's no consequences. So I'm just going to do whatever I want. Same thing in your own life. If you don't have boundaries, you'll just let people do whatever they want to you, regardless of the consequences, because you don't cause any consequences for them. And so how are you doing this in your own life when you don't have boundaries? Because you never say no, because you let people take advantage of you, you live in fear, all with the intentions of being a good, loving person, but none of this is good or loving at all. And so we have to come back to what love truly is. It's not that we don't love the people who want to come into the United States. You love them by ensuring that they follow the rules and go through the process and know what it means to assimilate into the culture here. And make sure that they show respect for the people who are here and for all the other individuals who were like them, who did go through the process to legally come into the country. And the same thing goes for you in your life. Are you just going to let anyone into your life? Anyone at all? Probably not, because there's people who won't respect you, who won't understand you, who will criticize you and judge you and make you feel terrible and take advantage of your money, your home, your energy, and your time. But if you don't have boundaries, if you don't love yourself, then you're going to suffer the consequences. And the truth is, love is hard. Love is not this ooey gooey, soft, loving, warm thing all the time. No, love is hard 80% of the time. It puts its foot down and says no. It creates boundaries. Love says yes to the self when it means taking care of the self, or taking care of the family, or taking care of your community or the country. Love does not help everyone, because when you try to help everyone, you will feel exhausted and not love yourself. When you try to give money away to everyone, you will be the one left with nothing. Being a good, loving person means putting your foot down and creating boundaries. And so the question is, where do we start? If you are someone who struggles to make boundaries, where do I start? Because this is happening in my life and I'm letting people walk all over me. Well, if you want to start making clear boundaries and be a truly good, loving person, it begins with loving yourself by holding to your own boundaries and by being assertive with your no, confidently, and not worrying about the consequences or how someone's going to react to your no, because it's you taking care of yourself. And when people who have people pleased for years, maybe like yourself, attempt boundaries for the first time, they usually fail. I see it all the time. They usually fail because it's uncomfortable and it triggers their trauma, causing them to close off again, continuing the cycle. I tried making boundaries and they made me feel terrible about it, so I just went back to who I was. Well, that's what happens when you make boundaries. That's what happens. That's part of it. And you have to learn how to deal with that. And so the solution to make sure you don't get stuck and stay where you're at is to get help, is to have someone in your corner to support you and guide you on how to make these boundaries in a healthy manner, and also how to work through what happens when you make boundaries and they don't go in a nice way, because you're going to deal with that often. So how you make boundaries easy is having a guide alongside you to accelerate and ease this process. When you have someone there who's been through this, like myself, who's been through being a people pleaser and struggling to say no and struggling to make boundaries and giving themselves away and saying finally, no, I'm not doing this anymore, that I'm gonna love myself, and then learning how to go through that process and the pain and the hurt and how to effectively communicate, it makes it so much easier because you know what it's like to go through that process, and you can hear from that experience to know that, hey, this hurts doing this and it's uncomfortable, but I'm doing it right because this is what he's been through. And so you have the opportunity to have a clear, actionable plan and a positive community to support you when you have a guide to feel what healthy boundaries are like with that person, with me, to communicate without fear of shame or judgment, and to have support when things are hard. That is what I provide my clients when they're working with me. It is a way of practicing what healthy boundaries and healthy communication is like. Because in my coaching, I have clear boundaries with my clients. I say, hey, if you message me in the middle of the night, that's totally cool. You're allowed to, but don't expect me to answer you immediately. And if you do expect that, then I'm going to have a conversation with you, because I have my own life. I need to take care of myself and get sleep. And most people understand that, right? But there's other boundaries I have as well. And it's a way that I show people, hey, this is a boundary. What does this feel like? And they recognize how respect is created between each other when we meet each other's boundaries. And when we break the boundary, we talk about it and how to find resolution so it doesn't happen again. And so when you have someone who has been there and knows what it feels like to go through the trials and tribulations to support you through your own process, so you don't second guess yourself, and so you build confidence faster. Because if you don't, I promise you, and I've been there myself, that you will either spend tons of time and struggle doing it by yourself, which, by the way, people pleasers think they have to be hyper independent and do things all themselves, because in the past, when they asked for help, it was met with criticism. So they felt like they had to do it all themselves. And continuing to do everything yourself is another people-pleasing behavior. Thinking you can't burden someone and that you're supposed to figure it all out on your own. No. You're going to end up wasting more time, more energy, and struggling so much more than if you just invest in a coach to do it faster and get the right plan to make the progress you want, instead of waiting another year or 2 years or trying therapy or trying this or getting stuck in your own head. That is how you make the progress you want, is by getting the help you need. Okay? But I cannot force your hand. So here's where you start. If you are someone who's like, yes, this is me after watching this video, then I am here to help you. You are the exact person that I help, and I know I can help you in just a few weeks. I've helped numerous individuals to overcome their people-pleasing problems and create healthy boundaries in their life and have the positive support so that they know, hey, if this isn't going well, I have someone to go to encourage me and to be in my corner. And that's what I provide you. So if that's what you're looking for, if you want to discuss what that relationship would look like and how we can get you to where you want to be in your life so people aren't taking advantage of you and you live confidently and speak healthy boundaries, then go below this video. You can book a consult call with me, or you can just send me a DM directly on Instagram and we could get discussing there on how to create solutions for your problems. Don't wait. Do not hesitate. Don't allow these problems to continue to persist. If you are like, this video is me, it is time to get help. Because if you don't, you will continue to lose every part of you and struggle to love yourself. So go to the bottom of this video, click the link to schedule a call, or send me a DM on Instagram, and let's get chatting about what our relationship could look like. I hope you enjoyed this training. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel. It helps me get my message out there, and it will come up more on your feed every time I put out a new video weekly. So I love you. I'm proud of you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next training.